Start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the Left Side View with me, Amitabh, and my partner in crime, Rahul. So today we'll be discussing the matches that happened yesterday. This is part one of our review episodes. So we start at the Premier League. The first match was between Leicester and Leeds. Jesse March's first match as Leeds manager, and again, I think Leeds gave a great account of themselves. They were defensively much more solid. They created so many chances, so many chances. But yes, they're just lacking that striker right now. Even someone like Bamford, I mean, who's good for Leeds. Let's not, not say that he's not a good striker, but someone like Daniel James, and they're just not able to, come to that level, or stand up to be counted right now with Bamford not in the fray. And again, totally against the run of play, Barnes scored a goal for Leicester midway in the second half, and Leicester come out as victors. Three important points for them. Rahul?
Yeah, I think a great victory for Leicester, but at the same time, not the worst result per se for Leeds. I think they should be actually happy with their progress in a way. I mean, they had been conceding what 2 or 3 goals at least in the first half of the last 4 or 5 matches. So the fact that it was 0-0 is actually progress in itself. They were, like you said, defensively solid. They actually created a lot of chances, just couldn't really find a finishing touch. And obviously, it's not like Marsh had a lot of time to work on the training pitch. But yes, I think, I mean, it's better than what they were doing. Simple. Under Bielsa, they probably would have lost this by an even bigger margin.
Yeah, so looking at the improvements right now, let's see how Leeds fare in the next matches. Then we have Aston Villa against Southampton, something that we did not expect. I remember I had picked Southampton in this fixture, and Aston Villa will come out with us 4-0, Coutinho with a goal and an assist. So good, actually great for Aston Villa. Rahul?
I think, yeah, Southampton were, I think there was supposed to be a time when they would drop off. I mean, they've been having these great results, especially at home, but you got to take that into account. So, and again, Aston Villa had also been not really having a good time. So I think it was just the right time. All these things came to a head, wherein Southampton had a drop off, Aston Villa were at their best. Even someone like Danny Ings was motivated against his former club. Yeah, I think the only thing is that no one really expected a 4-0 victory. But again, for someone like Southampton, it doesn't really matter, I think. So I think we can probably move on from this match.
Yeah, it's actually the margin. It's actually the margin of the victory that is like the most surprising here. But moving on, Burnley against Chelsea. Now the first half was actually laborious, and it was difficult for us to break and create chances of note. But I don't know what Tuchel said in the at halftime, but I think he should say that before kickoff every match something happened. Yes, we were lucky in some respects as well. Ball going through legs and stuff like that. Harvard's certain goal being bundled over the line. But after the match, Tuchel just said about Reece James. Now everybody can see what we were missing. So yeah, Reece started the scoring. Dilly-dallied the defender twice and then boom, scored. So yeah, and Pulisic was the third scorer. So confidence for the front men, and first half was not that great, but second half definitely a dominating performance. The other update here is Alonso was scheduled to start, but then, or maybe he was just pulled out at the last minute due to COVID or something. So yeah, one more player down due to this pandemic disease. Rahul?
Yeah, I think a great result overall, to be honest. Like the way the first half went, I think they were so dominant, Burnley. But then, yeah, we just came out all guns blazing the second half. Reece James again. I think the goal was reminiscent of the goal that he scored earlier in the season against Newcastle. I think Tuchel mentioned in the post-match conference, or maybe in one of the interviews, that he changed the formation instead of a 3-4-3. he switched to a 3-5-2. I think Mount, instead of a winger, he moved to the middle, maybe in order to overrun the Burnley midfield, which obviously in hindsight obviously made a lot of difference because we ended up winning 4-0. Lukaku didn't really come off the bench. Maybe some people will talk about that, but yeah, I'm not really sure if he had to be honest. Like, I mean, obviously, maybe you can say that it's Premier League, so we only have 3 subs allowed. So that also played a part. But yeah, we can move on. I think everyone knows we're Chelsea fans, so yeah.
Yeah, just a couple of things, and this is, I mean, this is true for every team right now. I think strategy and tactics, I think that is reserved, for the first, 2/3 of the season. Now it's all about points, and especially for us, or teams who are still in cup competitions, whether FA Cup or in Europe. So I think strategy plays a lot more role there now. Your formations and your personnel, whomever you choose. But in the league, especially with the kind of competition that we have, these wins are important for us to also keep that distance from the chasing pack. We don't want to be embroiled in that. Um, Multiple teams already there, so we don't want to be there. We have to have a safe distance. So again, 3 points, very, very crucial for us. The next match, I think this match, it just is the final nail in the coffin of Norwich City. Brentford, a direct rival, coming away and getting a 3-1 win. Tony scoring 3 goals, hat-trick, and Timo Pukki scoring a consolation goal in the extra time of second half. So I think Norwich are done and dusted. Again, not mathematically, but there's absolutely no way out for them now. So Brentford, Everton, Leeds, all of them are still in fight, and of course Everton and Watford and Burnley are there. So yeah, let's see which 2 out of these 4-5 teams end up in the relegation. So at the end of the season, Rahul.
Yeah, I think a very important victory for Brentford. Again, I think the best thing that people would like to talk about is the moment between, I think, Brandon Williams, the unknown defender from Manchester United, and Christian Eriksen. I think Eriksen fouled him, but then he probably wasn't in the mood to fight Brandon Williams. But then when he saw it was Christian Eriksen who fouled him, he, instead of fighting with him, he hugged him. So yeah, a great moment between those two. But yeah, I think, like you said, I think even after the loss to Chelsea, I think Burnley and now Norwich, I think these two really look like they're going down. But yeah, when it comes to third position, like as we speak, I think it's Arsenal versus Watford going on, and Watford are losing at home 2-1 to Arsenal. But let's see. Maybe, I know that all these teams are so bad at times, like Everton or Brentford or Leeds, but the fact that these 3 teams, Watford, they are even worse. That even if these 3 teams keep performing the way they are, they still won't go down. Because these 3 teams that are already there are even worse or even poor, more poor than the teams that are in the mix.
Yeah, again, at this stage of the season, it really doesn't, matches definitely are not played on paper. And it's not about how bad you are, it is whether there are worse teams than you. And definitely Watford and Burnley look to be a little way off than these 3-4 teams. Moving on to the next match, it's Wolves against Crystal Palace. So, I mean, this has happened so many times in, the previous seasons as well. A team just flatters to deceive. Of course, Wolves have, given a great account of themselves this season, but just as the pressure was on, and that is why it is often said that you can do, you can play at a certain level without pressure, but when the pressure comes, it's the great teams that, still can perform. So Wolves have lost their last 3 matches, and they're stuck at 40 points. And again, at home against Crystal Palace, again, a team that has done well this season, they lost to this home match 2-0. Now this becomes again no particular target for both the teams, and looking forward to the matches now. They'll play with a lot less stress now, with nothing, no target as such, because relegation is not really a threat, and I don't think they can go even to the Europa places. So, Rahul?
Yeah, I think we were talking about Wolves maybe finishing in a European place, but then at the end of the day, it does look like when it comes to the business end of the season, it's usually between the teams who have been there or thereabouts. I think Bruno last talked about, I think, the right wing back, I think Kiana Hover. He was like, I mean, I think he had to be substituted because of injury. So Bruno Lage was actually very, very unhappy. Like usually a very, he's also Portuguese, and he reminded me of another Portuguese manager, Jose Mourinho, by criticizing a player who got injured. He was like that because he doesn't train well, he got injured. Not a good tactic in my opinion, but yeah, that's something that stayed with me. Like you said, obviously, this is in a way an upset. We predicted Wolves to win, so yeah, no one really expected Crystal Palace to win and win like this, in my opinion. So great result for Crystal Palace, but not a good result for Wolves.
And again, these things happen so frequently. I mean, it is the I mean, plethora of instances where we have seen a team is doing well and everyone is, acting as one team spirit and all that. And as soon as a minor hiccup comes, and you see everything just starts blowing up in your faces. And again, criticizing a player for being injured, and then even if you have to say it, why do you have to say it in the middle? That is
Exactly.
my only concern. So
Exactly.
yeah, that is that. And in the late night kickoff, we had Liverpool at home against West Ham, and Liverpool won the match 1-0. No surprises there, but West Ham, I mean, really shout out to them. They generally kind of fold against these top teams, but yesterday they were resolute. They played well. They missed chances, unfortunately, and their defense with, I mean, everybody, right from Zuma to Dawson to Lanzini, Fornells, everybody played well, and somehow they just could not score that equalizer. So that is that. Sadio Mane scored for Liverpool, and yeah, their title charge is on. Let's see. Mo Salah had an off game. That is like the biggest story of yesterday's match between these two teams. Rahul?
Uh, I think a lot of the eyes were on the West Ham starting lineup or the squad. I think they were missing Declan Rice, who was not even in the squad. So I think he had a non-COVID related illness that kept him out of this game. Not pretty sure how long he's going to be out. But then obviously, when you're playing against West Ham and you see Declan Rice not there, then obviously your confidence goes through the roof. In my opinion, he's like their talisman right now. Uh, I think I actually kind of disagree here with West Ham being chokers. I think Moyes has actually made them a very difficult unit, a difficult team to beat. Someone who are defensively solid. I think they even beat Liverpool away from like in the corresponding fixture. So I think just a 1-0 loss at Anfield is not really a bad result. Uh, at the same time, I think both the teams had opportunities to score. I think a save that I think a goal line clearance that Trent Alexander-Arnold had to make, and similarly another save that Allison had to make from Mikel Antonio. So both the teams had chances to score. It was an even game, and yeah, West Ham kept going till the final whistle to find an equalizer. It was just not meant to be.
Yeah, so that covers the Premier League. We can move on to the Serie A now. So we had Inter against Salernitana on Friday, and Inter won by 5 goals to nil. I think this was the same score line in the reverse fixture
It
as well,
was.
right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and Martinez with a hat trick, Edin Dzeko with a couple of goals. So a confidence boosting win for Inter, even though it is against the bottom place team in the standings, but still onwards and upwards for Inter. Rahul?
Yeah, like we said in the preview, that this is just the game that Inter need and Inter strikers need, to find their scoring boots. And lo and behold, that's what happened. Lautaro Martinez scored a hat trick. Dzeko scored a brace. The only thing is that was it a one-off or will they continue to show that form? If that was a one-off, then I don't really think that any other team has anything to worry about. But yes, if this was just a game that they needed to build their confidence before they play Liverpool and all the other teams, in the Serie A title race, then I think it's bad news for the other teams. I still feel like the Liverpool game is out of sight, but yes, especially with Milan Napoli tonight. So I think they just needed to win this match, like we talked about in the preview, that they need to be the big winners, because whoever drops points in that match, they need to be the one to reclaim their top spot.
Yeah. So again, 3 points very important, and that is what Inter got. And yesterday we had Udinese against Sampdoria. Udinese won the home match 2-1. And then we had Roma against Atalanta. Now this was the second match where Mourinho was barred from the dugout, and Roma win again 1-0. And I think he said jokingly that if this is what it takes for the team to win, then I'll not be in the dugout for the next match as well.
Yeah.
So classic Mourinho. Tammy Abraham scoring the goal for Roma in the 32nd minute. There were actually 2 red cards as well, Mkhitaryan and Derun. So both teams ending the match with 10 men. So again, I think this is a great win for Roma. 2 wins on the bounce, and now they are on equal points with Atalanta. Atlanta in the 5th position and Roma 6th. Roma have played a game more. So I think again the biggest winners here again I think is Juventus, who can just steer clear of Atlanta and get in the top 4 first, and then take it from there whether they can reach the top 3. So yeah, again 11 matches to go, for some teams to 10, but many twists and turns still remain in this league. Rahul?
Yeah, I don't really think that anybody expected Roma to finish in the top 4. At least I did not. So I know that we still have a lot of matches to play, but if somehow Roma end up finishing the top 4, then it would be nothing short of a miracle, in my opinion. Other than that, I think a good result. It's, I think, for the first time, I think Roma did a double over Atlanta in a long time. They also beat them 4-1 away from home. I think, again, the issues with Atlanta are the same. I think the fact that they're lacking a striker, so that really doesn't really help them when it comes to finding a finisher or someone who can actually put the ball in the back of the net. Again, like we said, Roma were slight favorites, in my opinion, playing at home. So 1-0 is a decent result for them. They just needed it more in a way. But I still think that it's really hard for them to finish in the top 4. At the same time, a shout out to Tammy Abraham. I think it's actually scored 20 goals in all competitions already this season now. He even said that Roma, he feels like at home at Roma, even kissed his jersey after the goal. He was like that Roma picked me up when I was having a difficult time, obviously because he wasn't really selected much by Tuchel. I mean, I don't really want to compare the two things because obviously I'm not really saying that he should go back to Chelsea or anything like that. But yes, I'm just happy that he's enjoying playing regularly and he's happy being a part of a team that values him. That's what I would say. But yeah.
Yeah. Good for Tammy Abraham. And yeah, I mean, the less said, the better. Everybody can't make it a particular club. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose as a club, even as a player. So we just have to, take it with a pinch of salt. In the next match, we had Cagliari against Lazio. Now, one of the few predictions we actually got right this weekend. So Lazio winning the match 3-0. Cagliari languishing in the 17th spot. So not really much of a defense for them. Important win for Lazio. So yeah, 3-0. Rahul?
Yeah, I think Immobile scoring opened the scoring. It did kind of look like that Cagliari, who were trying to get out of the relegation zone, but I think in this match they just got it wrong. Maybe it was due to the team that they were playing, who were so good, so much better than them. Again, I don't really think that a team is in a relegation battle. Their match should be, or season should be defined by a home loss to a team like Lazio. So obviously they will look to get or pick up more points against teams in the same bracket as they are in their race to get out of the relegation zone. This, unfortunately, this was not one of those matches.
Yeah, we can move on to the French league now. PSG lost their match away at Nice. Solitary goal by Delort in the 88th minute. So, I mean, even from the body language of PSG players, they did not take this match seriously. I mean, there were visuals of Marquinhos and laughing and joking with the opposing captain Dante. And I mean, they have such a huge gap. I think all the focus is on the Real Madrid game in midweek, and their major concern, I guess, in this match was nobody gets injured, and that is how they actually played. Mbappe was rested for this match, and yeah, that's about it. Rahul?
Yeah, I think we also got this prediction right. We kind of said that this is actually a match wherein PSG could drop points, but then again, at the same time, we were the same rationale that you gave, that the team who would want to win it more would win, and PSG would not be that team because they would have their eye on the match against Real Madrid. And obviously, on top of that, the fact that they've got already got such a huge difference between them and the second place team. So again, in the long term, doesn't really matter that they lost. They're still going to win the league, and they will still pick up points against the other teams.
Yeah, we can move on to the Bundesliga now. So Bayern Munich actually drew their match against Leverkusen. Now,
You kind
with
of
their
did
match
say,
in,
you kind of, sorry to interrupt, did say that it's a good time to play by yeah.
yeah, I mean, it is, and I just I'm eager to see how Salzburg fares against Bayern in midweek. If and there is still, I mean, I don't give Salzburg more than 10% right now. If they can manage to knock Bayern out, I think there will be pandemonium in Munich. I mean, it has all the makings of a classic disaster story. And again, Upamecano was rubbish. I mean, I don't want to use words like this because, of course, he is a professional and I'm just, someone who watches the game. But the defense is so shaky right now at Bayern Munich. They actually, Müller scored an own goal in this match. So, um, again, something that we did expect, but yeah, great point for Leverkusen. Let's see whether Bayern Munich can arrest this downfall because things can get from bad to worse very, very quickly. Rahul?
I mean, I'm just thinking like, what is a bad period or a bad form for Bayern Munich? Uh, like for instance, even if they lose to Salzburg, they get knocked out of Champions League. I mean, I don't really think that anything should happen to Nagelsmann's position as their coach. At least that's what I think. Similarly, again, it would matter more if you had someone who would actually capitalize, on Bayern dropping points, which is again I don't really see happening. I don't see Dortmund going on a 7 match or a 6 match winning streak. So it's not a great result, but at the same time, I don't think it's the worst result, uh, considering the competition that Bayern have. We've already talked about Nagelsmann wanting more money to invest in squad. That hasn't really happened. We already talked about them. I mean, they're still without Manuel Neuer, so they're playing Ulrich in goal. They're still missing a key players. At the same time, I think we talked about they let go of two central defenders in Boateng and Alaba, but they only signed one, that is Upamecano. And now on top of that, even Zula is leaving. So that's in total three defenders leaving, but they've only brought in one. So they're clearly short, especially at center back. So again, not like a major crisis, but then the issue is pretty clear, like why a lot of these things are happening. And I'm pretty sure if it's clear to you and I, then I'm pretty sure it's clear to Nagelsmann and all the higher ups at Bayern as well. It's the question is what they do about it.
Yeah, and I guess like all disasters, this disaster is in the boardroom as well. With Salhamidzic and I can't recall the name of the
Orioles.
Oliver Khan,
Oliver.
and yeah, Uli Hoeneß and all that. So they have already started bickering, and they want to go for Haaland. Lewandowski is not happy, and see, at the end of the day, the cycle just has to come to an end. And generally, when you have dominated the way Bayern have, maybe the next cycle is not far away also. Let us be very, very clear and very practical, but maybe this cycle ends sooner rather than later. In the next match, we had Leipzig against Freiburg, again fourth against fifth, and this match was a draw. Angelino scoring the equalizer for Leipzig in the 90th minute. Again, a good game, but this result does no favors to both the teams, I guess. Rahul?
Yeah, I think Demirovic, the former Leipzig player, actually scored against Leipzig. He's only scored 2 goals this season, and the second came against his former club. And it did look like Freiburg would hold on, but then with almost like the last kick of the game, I think the former Manchester City defender Angelino equalized, scored a great goal. He has been scoring goals like these from Marcus, from left wing back position, like Marcus Alonso is at Chelsea. So again, like you said, not a result that helps anyone. A decent 1-1 draw at home, but finally, I think Leipzig drop points, something that they haven't really been doing much of. So you can at least let this result, you don't really have to criticize this much a lot, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Leipzig have been on a good run, so one draw doesn't change that. Okay, so we move on to the La Liga now. On Friday, Sevilla squandered another chance to, snap at the heels of Real Madrid. They were facing 19th placed Alaves away from home, no doubt. But again, drawing this match, that too a scoreless draw, um, makes no sense actually. And yeah, it is what it is. Sevilla have drawn so many games that they should have won, and the gap to Madrid should have been, a lot less. And yeah, with Madrid winning their fixture against Sociedad 4-1, the gap is now at 8 points, and it's just increased just that tad bit much. Rahul, your views on both the matches?
Yeah, like we said, that this was a must-win game, for Sevilla. But then it's like nobody wants to be in that conversation. Nobody even wants to finish second, I guess. Otherwise, uh, you would see other teams also capitalize on the points that Sevilla dropped. But even we'll talk about the Villarreal result. So yeah, a nil-nil draw away to like the team second from top and second from bottom. Not a decent result at all for Sevilla. That's what I would say. Other than that, I think Real Madrid, as long as you got Benzema, like he's 34, man, he still produces the goods every week. Even someone like Vinicius Junior, I think, yeah, I think the goal that Camavinga scored from distance, and then a similar goal that Modric scored. Modric is again 36. I think even Benzema scored another goal that was actually ruled out by VAR. Otherwise, it would have been even more. Would have been 5-1, and then Asensio came on as a substitute, and he scored. I think just moments after coming on. So they've got these players who are great finishers. Like when you take a look at their stats in terms of finishing, they're actually pretty good. I mean, otherwise, if this was any other team, maybe they would still win it, but it would be like a 1-0. But they usually do score these 3-1s and 4-1s. They do get these 3-1s and 4-1 victories.
Actually, Eduardo Camavinga had a great match here. He was given an opportunity by Ancelotti, and I always thought that his transfer was done this season, but for this season, the attention was to keep him with the squad and develop him. How do I say it? For the lack of a better word, internally. But now that the PSG match is upon us, and with Modric, Cruz, and Casemiro, maybe they need some legs in the midfield. So again, Camavinga has just put his name forward for that match. Let's see if Ancelotti extends that opportunity to him. Coming back to the Osasuna and Villarreal match, again, one of those predictions that we did get wrong. Osasuna won this match 1-0, and again, a great chance for Villarreal, especially after. But Sevilla was still a little too much for them, but they knew Sociedad were facing Real Madrid, and Betis and Atletico were facing each other. So are facing each other. So this was again a great chance for them to narrow the gap, but they actually lost ground. So they lost the match 1-0. And yeah, your views now?
Again, like as someone who wants to see more from La Liga, this was not just one of those matches that would bring neutrals to watch La Liga. I think Villarreal, like losing 1-0 away to Osasuna, especially you have to take into consideration the importance of these matches. It's the business end of the season. I mean, they're all of a sudden we were talking like 2 weeks ago we were talking about them trying to finish in the top four, and now they're seventh. So yeah, it's just this inconsistency that costs a lot of these teams. I mean, maybe I'm just thinking that, like similar to Premier League, once the season ends, it'll still be the same teams that are there. So all those teams that are there that have not been there, usually I think maybe we'll again see those teams drop out, and will again be Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico.
And Sevilla. Yeah. So the more powerful teams, even if they give a chance, maybe the teams that are trying to catch up, maybe they don't have the resources, maybe they don't have the mentality, and maybe it just boils down to handling pressure, as we have discussed so many times. So it is what it is. And yeah, with that, we come to the end of our first part of the review episodes over this weekend. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. And please let us know what you think about our review. Thank you so much. And we'll meet you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.
All right, guys.